What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out. This is my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, it seems that the Twitter warriors, the ponies, donkey unicorns, whatever you want to call them, have taken to Twitter upon the news that Xbox will ultimately raise their prices on certain things. Now, I know that the ponies and the donkey unicorns are grasping at little puny straws. They're grasping at paper straws. You know, you ever get those cardboard paper straws? It's like, why would you make a straw out of paper when you're going to be drinking liquid? That's what they're grasping at. Paper cardboard straws. Because if you look at the history of video games, specifically Xbox, they've always risen prices, right? Remember when video games were $50 and they went to $60? Remember when video games were $60? They still are, Xbox, and then with $70. So when they went from 50 to 60, right? Who was the last ones to do the price increase? Sorry. Who? When the game prices were $50 and they went to 60, who were the last ones to raise the price? It was Xbox. It was during the Xbox One era, I believe. They were still $50, and the first party games were still $50, and they raised them eventually. Not at the beginning of the generation, no, but eventually during sometime during the generation they went up, right? Same thing's happening now. So when the ponies and the donkey unicorns are like, oh, look at what they're doing, right? I'm like, well, this is what's happening. This is how it's always been. So there's nothing new. You ain't saying nothing new, right? But they're trying to act like, oh, the price increase. And first of all, price increase hasn't happened yet. It said sometime in the future, not this year, obviously. Second of all, they're not increasing the price of the console, Sony, PlayStation, hello. They're not doing that, ponies. They're just doing games and probably Game Pass. If you look at the history of subscription services, streaming subscription services, Disney Plus, Netflix, they all do it eventually because, the cost is greater. When you're buying all these studios and paying all this money, you got to do a little something. And that's understandable. So, everything that's happening as pertaining to the price increases on the Xbox side is par for the course as far as the industry goes, and as cross interactive or multimedia, if you will, industries. So there's no surprise. There's no precedent here. It's like, oh my gosh, Xbox is making Game Pass more expensive. It's never happened ever before in subscription services. It has, okay? So we've seen this already. So it's not surprising. It is expected. What is not expected, what is surprising, is Sony increasing the console price after the fact. Come on, son. It's not like they were even slick about it. They could have been like, yeah, here's the new PlayStation, new and improved, super slim, it's quieter, use less energy, here's more money. They didn't do that. They just snuckily put in the cheaper components and charged more. So they did a double whammy for y'all. They smacked y'all with both sides of their hands. They said, yeah, we're going to make it cheaper for us to make slap. And then we're going to charge you more slap. And y'all were like, oh, give me more, daddy. Give me more, daddy, Jim. I want more. Ooh, accident. Wow. You see the accident? There it is. And that's where I'm looking at these ponies. Like, what are y'all talking about? Really? This is all you got. This is all you got. This is your argument. I'm looking at you, Puerto Rock. Man, you're like, ugh. I saw a video of Puerto Rock. I said this before. It was so hilarious and sad at the same time because he's a pony and he got nothing. They got nothing. God of War's coming out and it's like, okay, sure. It's God of War 2. It's God of War 6, actually, if you count. God of War 6. Let's call it what it is. So God of War 6 is coming out. And is it good? It'll be good. It'll be great, maybe even. But, diminishing returns, like I said before. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Twitter ponies and their galloping sounds, and they're trying They're trying to come up with some cracks and some wise antics, but they can't do it. They can't do it because the power of PlayStation's mess ups this generation are so great. When they said greatness awaits, this is what they were talking about. This greatness, this Jim Ryan's greatness. This is the true greatness that they were talking about. I was wondering what they were. Greatness? What is greatness? Is that subjective, isn't it? Yes, it is. And this to me is greatness. Sony is illustrating exactly how you don't do video games in the video game industry. And they're also illustrating the power of the top position. And they're also illustrating when someone has power and is irresponsible with that power. And that's what Sony is doing. So they're pissing away a lot of their good faith. A lot of their good faith has been pissed away. Now, Sony is being laughed at. They're being made fun of because it's like, oh, they're scared. Oh, Sony's scared because of the whole Call of Duty thing. It is amazing to me. And it never ceases to be amazing to me. And I'm looking at the donkey unicorns and the ponies, and I'm like, when are y'all gonna wake up? When are y'all gonna revolt against this abusive master of yours? Because they're not doing you no favors, zero favors. They're just like, whatever, yo. We need to make that money. Let's go. And you know, the other funny thing is, not pertaining to ponies, but the whole, they're probably gonna talk about this too. I haven't been on Twitter that much. I just gleaned that for a second. But Satya Nadella, his bonus, he's the CEO of Microsoft, right? And so his bonus, his money bonus, which is whatever, I don't even know what it is or what it would have been, but he didn't get it because it was based off of Game Pass performance. And so they didn't reach those goals for Game Pass. I think they wanted 70-something% growth, and they got, was it 20 or 40, or I forgot what the growth number was, but it was definitely below, right? And I would say that's understandable. The growth was not to be expected because they delayed Starfield. If Starfield was in Game Pass, they might have got to 70-something%. You know what I mean? If this Activision deal would have went through and would have been all kosher by now, they probably would have got that 70-something%. So, and he's a rich man, so like, does it really matter to us, the layman, the broke people of the world, of the video game hobby? No, it doesn't, of course. And it doesn't seem to faze him at all because, come on, son, his regular bonus, his regular money is probably like boom, bam, you know, it's like, he's a rich man. Anyway, I'm sure the ponies are talking about that. Oh, Satya didn't get his bonus. Oh, look at the. But then you look at the numbers on Xbox side, and they grew 13%. Was it 13%? It was more than that, right? It was 13% growth as far as like revenue, and they're making money. And I'm like, okay, so they didn't make their Game Pass numbers because they really shot high for it, which is understandable. It was growing like crazy, but they're still making money, even though they didn't meet their projections. Still making money. And on the other side, Sony not making money, losing. They lost like 2% or something, 2% shrinkage. So I'm like, where the ponies up there? Yeah, we number one. That number one position is slipping away slowly but surely. And the most hilarious thing about this whole thing is that Xbox is gaining momentum and gaining in the race of consoles against Sony with no games. How is that possible? How is that even a thing where it's like, yo, how do you gain with no games? How? You know, I don't understand. I don't understand it at all. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. And I don't get it, but, you know, whatever. It's clever, it's all good. I mean, let me know in the comments below what y'all think about the ponies acting up, you know, and this whole console war race, and what are the metrics? What should the metrics be as far as who's the winner and who's the loser? Is it revenue? Is it console sold, unit sold? Is it the number of people playing the games? You know, all that stuff. Concurrent players, all that stuff. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate y'all hanging out Remember, I read all the comments. I like all the comments. Don't matter what you say, I still like you because I appreciate you giving me time to even comment. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. And I'll see you on the next one. Take it away.